We've all been waiting for to know a lot about International Convention and why it's so special this year. So for our agenda, we will talk about what the International Convention is, who can attend, and the benefits, including our international elections. Unfortunately, because Aspen has been having some difficulties, Lena will be presenting. Lena, if you want to introduce yourself again.
Hey everyone, so as Alejandro said, my name is Lena, and I'm an international trustee for Alabama, Indiana, and Bahamas. Yeah.
And I'm Alejandro Ganasa, and I only have one title, and it's the Florida District Governor. So what is the International Convention? ICON, also known as the Key Club International Convention, is an annual celebration of Key Club service years, bringing together hundreds, if not thousands, of Key Club members from all over the world. And we truly mean that it's international. So what can attendees do? They can create new global collections, learn more about Key Club and our preferred partners and charities, including Thirst Project, UNICEF USA, Erica's Lighthouse, and Schoolhouse, be awarded for outstanding service for our Key of Honor and most of our other awards, listen to inspiring speakers, of which we have two confirmed, which we'll present later on, and then honor the most important part, 100 years of service through Key Club International. And this is at ICON 2025 only.
So for the 2025 International Convention, it is going to be hosted in Orlando, Florida, and it's going to be held at the Hilton Orlando Lake Buena Vista at Walt Disney World Resort. Make sure when you go to the hotel, you focus on that exact name because there's a similar one that has a bit of a different name, and it's going to take place on July 2nd, 6th. However, your district may have a district tour that extends before or after. And this icon will also commemorate the 100th year of Key Club International, as it is our birthday.
Yeah, and with our birthday, you're also going to notice that July 2nd through 6th covers 4th of July. So it's going to be really interesting to have both our celebrations for Day of Independence and International Convention, which is even more reason to go, honestly. So let's talk about district tours and what they are. So district tours are hosted individually by each district, meaning that ICON attendees, and all of you hopefully, are not required to go on these tours. They are set by each of the districts, and to get to know more, the best way to go is by following your district's social media, contacting your district governor, for example, me, or for Indiana, whether it be Jason, and New York and be Anna, and the district administrator for any questions. So everything about pricing, logistics, it all varies between district. And of course, visit your own district's website for information about PDFs and any liability forms that need to be signed. Potential visit spots you might ask in the wonderful Orlando is Disney World theme parks. They have four currently, I think. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. Universal Studios theme parks, of which they're opening a new one soon. Many of Florida's sunny beaches, even though right now it's pretty cold, I will tell you, and Six Flags, and so much more. So again, this all depends on your district, but it is a possibility for every ICON attendee to go.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is Aspen jumping in. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but Key Club is all about leadership and perseverance, so that was just another great example of that. So moving on, who can attend the International Convention? Well, the International Convention is for everyone. So regardless of whether you're a Key Club a member, you're a committee chair, you're lieutenant governor, you're a member of the district board, or you're one of our most important members on the club level, you are more than invited to attend. And there are so many unique opportunities for you, regardless of your leadership position. Moving on, Kiwanis members and faculty advisors are also able to attend as chaperones. And regardless of you not being a Key Club member, your experience can still be super helpful and be very, very helpful to your Kiwanis journey and to your Key Club members' journeys that you are chaperoning for.
Well, we want to take away is that everyone can benefit from this experience because I would say, and as Kevin will say in his stories, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But what exactly are these benefits? For starters, we have our guest speakers. Guest speakers are the top experts in their field, and so far we have confirmed two of our 2025 Icon guest speakers, including Coach VJ and Emily Tosta. Coach VJ specializes in performance psychology, focusing on enhancing personal and team performances through mindset shifts. She often incorporates real-life stories and experiences to illustrate key points. She's incredible and motivating, and we hope to see her at Icon 2025. And then our other guest speaker that we have confirmed is Emily Tosta, which is a Dominican actress, producer, and dancer, and she is known for being the next big thing. And she plays a heavy role in the Thirst Project, and Andrew Reese, our director of school programs, is so excited to introduce her at our international convention. So you all will see much of them and more guest speakers along the way.
Okay, moving on to workshops and networking. So this year, the international conference will have different leaders from Key Club, preferred partners and charities, and so many more. We even have a key sponsor this year, which will be a really exciting development should you decide to attend. So workshops are a key part of the international convention, and really they are one of the main catalyst for all of our learning opportunities during the conference. So some potential topics for workshops include networking, fundraising, running for higher office, the Thirst Project, Start Strong Zambia, but there are so many more. We'd love if you attended the international convention in the past for you to drop your favorite workshops that you've attended. I know one big favorite is how to get a date. So if that rings any bells, that's super fun to hear. But like we said, workshops are huge. And oftentimes when you attend them, you'll see people taking tons of notes for things that they want to bring back to their clubs. Additionally, additional learning opportunities include meeting leaders from across 45 countries that Key Club spans and forging long-lasting friendships. I know I'm still friends with Key Club leaders I met back from my icon I attended in Anaheim, and now we're people on the governor level and the district level and the international level. And it has been such a humbling experience to have made such amazing friends. Additionally, you can get inspired by leaders that are highly motivated to do better in their communities and for their clubs. You can learn about what other leaders are doing in their home clubs and apply those strategies in your club, making you and your club more successful. And finally, you can learn about leadership and opportunities on the international level. That's how I learned about the I board, and that's how you can learn about task forces and so many more amazing things. Moving on, Alejandro.
Yeah, and now I get to present all the fun, which I think is the best part. Apart from all of our educational journey and leadership opportunities that we have all the fun that gets to go with our international convention, including various social opportunities each night, including just dance rooms, karaoke, which Kevin said he was leading and maybe I'll join in, game night. We have our president's dance to celebrate our end of our successful convention in ballroom style. The President's Dance is an annual tradition that we have. And then the last thing is our merchandise shop, where you can buy all sorts of cool Key Club merch from our Stanley dupes that we have to our tote bags and all the fun merch that you can purchase at convention. Apart from this, many past attendees will note that there's something called pin trading, and that is one of our lifetime traditions that we have, and we hope you can take part in it. Now moving on to Aspen.
Okay, so moving on to our international elections. So at the international convention, you will listen to candidates endorsed by their district to run for international office. So up to 2 for the position of international trustee. Last year, 11 international trustees, as well as our international president and vice president, were elected to support our 225,000 members. And it is truly the best job in the world. So a maximum of 2 delegates from each club in attendance will be eligible to voice their opinions and vote on who will lead our organization next year. So if you have more than 2 delegates or attendees from a club at Icon, you will pick the 2 that are the highest leadership level typically. But it is a great way to have your voices heard on the issues that matter most to you and who will lead our organization in the future.
Definitely. Now, we know that was all condensed information and it spanned everything from fun to speakers to educational journey. So if you have any questions, we would like to take the time now. And if you have any, we can drop them in the chat or you can go on mute. But that concludes the end of our general session of this presentation.
We thank you guys so much. And now we will be moving on to Trustee Kevin to share some of his own personal favorite memories from the international conventions in the past.
While he gets that up, are there any questions in specific? Awesome. You guys are doing great.
All right, can everybody see the presentation? Great. All right. Well, hello. My name is Kevin Hidalgo. Uh, as I introduced myself before, I'm an international trustee from the New York district, and I'm so excited to be giving you the Stories from Icon presentation. I'm going to be telling you all about my favorite memories from international convention, what to do, what not to do, and exactly just why you should be attending. So, to get into it, you already know my name is Kevin Hidalgo. I'm from New York District, but not New York City. Whenever I say New York District, everyone's like, "Oh, are you from the city?" No, I'm not. I'm from Long Island, which is an hour east. I represent New Jersey, Wisconsin, Upper Michigan, and Texas, Oklahoma on the international board. I love boba tea and I love milkshakes very much. In fact, I love milkshakes so much that I got a professional job in it. Now, to get into the presentation, let's give my icon in some photos. Now, the first three photos are going to be from my first international convention in 2023 in Anaheim, California. So, to start it off, I just want to give you off some mistakes to avoid in your internet in your first international convention trip. One, very obvious, do not leave packing for the very last day. You will regret it. You will leave something important, and you're gonna get to international convention and be like, wow, I forgot my favorite chapstick. Now my lips are chapped, or I forgot my deodorant, which is an even worse problem. You also don't want to misinterpret the departure date. Unfortunately, on my first international convention trip, I did assume that the trip was going to be 1 day later than it actually was, which led to a lot of frantic calls at 6 a.m. trying to get me to an airport. But thankfully, thanks to the good people at the New York District Key Club, I was able to get on a later flight. And I was able to make it to international convention, which was so good because I put in the entire butterfly effect of the rest of my Key Club journey. And also, do not pack too much. If you do, you're going to have to carry it around the airport. You're going to have to carry it to international convention itself and the hotel it's presented in. And you're just not going to want to do all that. You're going to want to make sure that you have everything that is manageable. Um, so one thing the international convention really left on me was an impact. So how did it leave me an impact? Well, it taught me that I need to have the courage to do new things. One of the things I remember the most about being at international convention was being in the Global Leadership Certificate Masterclass. Now, in this masterclass, I learned a lot about different leadership skills and how I could apply them to my own life and my home school and community. But also, I was able to get myself on Key Club International TV, Key Club TV on the Key Club International Instagram page. If you see on the left here, I was a part of an interview, and I remember screen sharing it and sending it to every single one of my friends and bragging about it and saying how proud I was to have this milestone in my Key Club career. But then I also had a different one with future international trustee Sunny Sandu, which furthers into a point of you never know who you're going to meet. Also, remember to dance. The reason why I got onto the Key Club International story was because I said that my favorite part of international convention, the part that I'm most looking forward to, is the dance, which is something we're going to be having at 2025 Icon as well. If you're very excited for that, you will be seeing me on the dance floor. I will be busting a move, and I'm going to try to learn how to break dance, maybe even, so I can impress you all. So just make sure you're trying new things. I know that if it wasn't for me volunteering to get onto the Key Club International Instagram story, that I would not have even had any knowledge of how far you can get in Key Club if you just try. Now, it also left other much more impacts on me as well. As I was talking about before, there's the Global Leadership Certificate Masterclass, which is something that's available to Key Clubbers in this year's international convention as well. Basically, what it is that for every Key Clubber who is attending international convention and has completed all the courses on the Global Leadership Certificate course, you can attend a masterclass where you also get a stipend. But in this masterclass, you learn a lot about leadership, and I know I have so many lessons that I currently use in my term as an international trustee. I know that there are things that I'm going to take for me for life, like strategic versus tactical leadership, different things like that, different tips and tricks. And it is something that I absolutely remember 100% from my icon. It made my experience. So if you are personally interested in international convention, please look into the masterclass. I also remember the speakers. Now, we had a actual real world princess in Sarah Culberson at our international convention in 2023 Anaheim. Now, Sarah was giving a magical presentation, and we were in Anaheim, so I went to Disneyland, so I had this entire air of magic around me, and it kind of surrounded what everything I was doing at international convention was. I remember going out of convention and talking to my other friends who went to convention and feeling like we were incredibly inspired to be better leaders in our home schools and communities. International convention and basically many other Key Club events, but specifically Icon, leave you with a feeling of inspiration. Once you go out of an international convention, you're going to want to lead, to do leadership in your community. You're going to want to run for election. And I know that for all of you going to Icon, you're going to be inspired as well. And I also made a lot of friends. As I talked about before, I met Sunny Sandu at my first international convention. I met Aspen Hess. I met Condoleezza Due. A bunch of amazing, brilliant people who I still have conversations with to this day. Some people who are on the international board with me right now. And I just know that going to international convention has left me with such lifelong friends. Now, as you'll see on the right over here, due to me being the certificate masterclass, I was able to see my screen to my name on screen. So my name's right there in the middle of the middle row. And this put a little bit of an idea in my head. I thought, what if I tried to get on that screen again next year? Now, that's what I did at my second international convention. Now, my first international convention was incredibly great, but you know what they say, since if it's so great one time, why not do it twice? So this time I wanted to run for the role of international trustee. And only came to this conclusion through my experience at my first international convention. So when I arrived, I was incredibly stressed. I want to tell you that if you're thinking about running for international office, it is one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done in my entire life. It brought me such joy and emotion, but it is also an incredibly stressful thing. I think I was seeing hairs fall in the middle of my math class right before Icon. It was bad. But to de-stress, as you can see on the left over here, I was at the Georgia Aquarium, which was one of the experiences I got to go on to because my district tour, and I was looking at different penguins, and as you can see, I was very amused. Now, after a big, long election process, which, if you are interested in international election, we will be having a lot of webinars about later next year. I was able to realize my dream of seeing my name on screen again and becoming an international trustee. And that's me standing with the 2024-2025 International Board and just taking it all in. And I want to say I would not be able to do any of this if it was not for my first experience at International Convention, and also without the great Kiwanians at the Suffolk East Kiwanis District who helped sponsor both of my trips to International Convention. If it wasn't for the fundraising from Kiwanis, I wouldn't be an international trustee today either. Now, let's get into overall lessons. Inspiration is necessary to dream big. Now, the reason why I say this is because being a part of international convention just inspired me so much. It put in a bunch of different ideas in my head. It gave me perspectives from people and key clubbers all across the world on how I can better myself and how I can continue on with my key club journey. And it obviously provided me the inspiration to become an international trustee. Secondly, being on time is very important. This is still a lesson that I struggle with to this day, but I keep it inside of my heart because of that very stressful morning at my first Icon. Always be on time. In fact, early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable, as they say in Key Club. Now, I also learned that Key Club is truly international. I met people from all across Key Club Icon. I met people from Louisiana, Alabama, California, Virginia, Florida. I could probably name all 50 states with just the people I've met from that state. It's absolutely incredible the amount and depth of people who you're able to meet at international convention. And I want to tell you, try everything. If you don't try, you basically failed because you never know if you would have succeeded if you tried. You miss every single shot you don't take. Now, that is the end of my story from Icon, but I want to leave you with this. How can you make your unique Icon story? Thank you very much.
So I'm going to be presenting how to fund for Icon and how to get there, how to communicate with your Kiwanis. Again, my name is Lena Musa, and I'm the international trustee for Alabama, Indiana, and the Bahamas districts. So shout out to our governor, Jason, for attending. So the overview, what we're going to be doing is going over some fundraiser ideas, promotional material, reaching out, and at the end, we're going to have some questions and answers to go over. So we have many fundraising methods that you guys could know, but sometimes like they're in the back of your head and you're reminded. So we have you can organize a bake sale at school, community centers, or local events in your community in your town. Sometimes they'll have like I know like Thanksgiving, we have like the turkey trot in the winter. During Christmas, they usually have a lot of events. So if you can have like a little stand and have a bake sale, you could raise money. The car wash is more of a spring event, so obviously not while it's snowing, but you can host a car wash in a busy area with your friends or club members. After school, you can have parents, especially at like the elementary school, pass by and help donate to your cause. And you can also offer a skill or hobby class like crafting, photography, or cooking and charge a fee. Do that like as a little workshop to get people to attend. So it's something that like they're benefiting from and it's a little fun while you like kind of upcharge a little to keep that extra profit and raise that. And this one's a bit more challenging to do, but it's definitely a lot more money that you would gain out of it. We could do a talent show where you have either like students or like adults even to join a talent show, giving their talent and charging an admission fee for the people who decide to participate. And then you could have like a grand award at the end. And if your school is really big, then you could like actually have a really nice award so people would be willing to push for this. And many restaurants do partnerships, so you can arrange a little fundraising night where a percentage of the restaurant sales go towards your cause. I know Chipotle, Wendy's, um, like in my area, they usually do that. We usually do that with them. They usually give like 20%. So we tell all the students like, oh, after school, like today you're gonna go, you're gonna go eat lunch at Chipotle, whether you like it or not. And they raise money that way, and it's really beneficial. And we also could do a game night or like a board game, video game for many students. It really attracts them with like an entry fee. And again, you can have an award. So did anyone have any fundraisers similar to these or even different that were successful, or would you like to share any other ideas? You could like raise your hand or say it in chat. Yeah, and Andrea.
Hi, so what like my home club has done for decon, like our district's fundraising, we just every week like we're consistent with having a pizza sale every single week, and through that we've made more than enough to send around 8 people to decon. So like I think like those just like even though it's a basic fundraiser, doing that consistently every week if you can has been the most successful for us.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I know decon is not cheap either, so that's really good. And then Cecilia.
Every year to like raise money for Icon, my club, we like grocery bag at our local grocery store. And we have like a charcoal board set up for like what is Key Club and everything. So we normally make a lot of money off that.
That's cool. I've never heard of that. I'd look into that in my local grocery stores. Does anyone else have any other like fundraisers they want to recommend or something that went well? Leah?
We make cotton candy and sell it at big events in our town, and that's how we raise money for our fall rally and to decon.
Yeah, I love cotton candy. I would definitely like sell you out. Okay, yeah, Brandon.
Doing like a fun run, especially with schools with tracks or towns with tracks, and people will pledge 10 cents a lap or $1 a lap for every member completed. That's a really good way to fundraise, especially for those wanting to attend. They're actually out there working for it, and people are donating and pledging money.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much for sharing. And then in the chat, we have Alia said that she had a pizza sale and games day as well to raise funds. And Bryce said that they've worked with Applebee's before for their pancake breakfast fundraiser. So those are all really great ideas. Make sure like try to like steal any ideas you want. Do whatever works for your club, but keep in mind things that work for one school might not work for another. Different schools have different sizes and the students like different things. So make sure to cater to your own school. And then we have promotional material. So promoting Icon to members, the main thing that you should do is, first of all, you have to collect testimonies from members who have already attended Icon and start posting that on your district social media pages as videos or social media posts. So if I went to Icon and my friend did, then we took a bunch of like pictures and videos. We want to like send that to the board and have our social media person or editor start making those posts because that really shows like the raw footage that we took and the things that we really enjoyed. And then also like reaching out to members and people actually like attended, like getting their input is really what's going to attract people. Because usually when you have just like regular promotion, it's not really targeted, but having it from other students, it really like pushes you like, oh, my best friend went, like I want to go too. And make sure to utilize past icon video clips to show to members. And promote icon all year long. The earlier the better. I know it's in July and it seems like, oh, that's like 6 months away. But it really comes by really fast. So you want to get on top of that, start raising money as soon as possible. And there's the icon promotional material drive that is on the Key Club International website that you can access. It has like many different Instagram posts and like the formatting that you could use for your district so you don't even have to create that much. It's at www.club.org/promotional materials. Someone like raise their hand. Oh, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna add one thing. As governor, I've been able to see kind of how clubs have operated on a day-to-day basis, and I would say like my biggest tip is consistency. And whether it's normalized or not, some people kind of say like, "Oh, I'm gonna host a Chipotle fundraiser once, and we're gonna get 40 people to district convention." And you want to make it as realistic as possible and understand that it is doable. You just have to make it a regular thing. And it doesn't mean you have to do it every week, but you have to plan yourself out. And like Lena said, I think it's just never too early to start. But being consistent with what you're doing, talking to different organizations, there's so many restaurants out there from everything we've heard. Food is a really big thing. I can say like I love eating, and just genuinely everything that gets us motivated to donate money is influential. So just being consistent about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much.
Lena, if I can add on to that really quickly. On Alejandra's point of consistency, another big aspect that we sort of discuss is working with your Kiwanis to get to conventions, not only district convention, but the international convention. And in terms of consistency, if you are not consistently communicating with and working with your committee or your Kiwanis club and their leadership, it's going to be much more difficult to be able to get funding from them or get your support in terms of transportation. So make sure you are regularly contacting your Kiwanis club about what your club is doing so that they are more inclined to support you all in attending.
Yeah, so just to like piggyback off of what Aspen said, reaching out is the key way to also getting to Icon. So you want to build relationships by attending your Key Club and Qantas meetings regularly. Because so Quanians, as you know, sponsor many of your clubs, but in order for them to actually be like willing to push and sponsor, they want to have an actual connection with you. So Quanians are literally like they want to help you. They want to do everything possible to get key clubbers to be more involved. Because like number one, if you're a good key clubber, you're gonna like go to CPI, then Quantas, you're gonna become one of them. So so like they really like just want to help you. So you have to make sure that you actually like attend their meetings and show like, oh, I'm actually interested in this. Because if you don't attend their meetings, they're gonna be like, oh, Lena's not dedicated. She doesn't actually want to do this. So Lena has to come to the meeting and show that like, oh, I really want this from them. And then you want to present your cause. So clearly explain your fundraising goals and that you're actually putting effort into fundraising. You're not just like, oh, I need money. No, I'm taking these steps to fundraise and I also want your help. And in addition, I'm going to be like, oh, attending Icon is going to benefit me, the Key Club, and the entire community. It's going to be extremely beneficial, and that's what they want to hear. You want to also highlight your impact. So share examples of service projects that you've already completed and contributed to. So we're gonna like show that you're like a really committed member who's gonna continue giving back to Key Club International, and that going there and learning all these leadership opportunities, hearing our speakers talk is gonna benefit you, and you're gonna bring that back to your home club and make an impact because Key Club is about like leadership, community service, making an impact, right? And when you're doing this, make sure that you personalize your approach. So depending on who you're talking to, whether you're talking to the Quanians or the Key Clubbers or like an advisor, you want to make sure that you tailor your message when reaching out to different members and focus on their interests and how they specifically contribute. So generally we would ask like Kwanians for, I would say like a larger amount because that's what they're more capable of rather than your key club. And in this whole process, you want to make sure that you keep everyone informed about your progress and the impact of their contributions to regular updates. So let's say you go to your Quantus and they agree to give you the money. After you go to Icon and you come back, you should not just ghost them. You have to reach out, be like, hey, oh, this is my Icon experience. It was so amazing. You know, this happened because of you. They really like, it's like saying thank you. Like, you really just want to show your appreciation. So some posted information that we have, you should keep up with Key Club International as we get closer and closer to Icon. Make sure to follow us on at Key Club Int and at keyclub.iboard to hear first about everything coming to Icon 2025 and find out more about Icon on our website, keyclub.org. The news and events section has multiple blog posts related to Key Club's 100th year, including a post about how to get to Icon. So as we come to the conclusion, I know that I went over like a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions? You can feel free to enter it in the chat or raise your hand if you're comfortable for that. Good to go. I'm glad you guys
So
all.
I have a question, Lena.
Yeah, Alejandro?
So a lot of people might be scared of talking to their Kiwanians, and I know I don't want to be talking to an 80-year-old white man on my Tuesday. So how do you suggest going about making that first breach of contact and getting into the meetings, whether that be at dinners or anything?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I actually had that same situation when I first started my club and I had to reach out to my Qantas for charter money. The way I did that was that I didn't even know like the Qantas existed, but I contacted my lieutenant governor and they were like, "Oh, there's this Qantas and you know they have like a good amount of funds that are available to you." And they were like, "Oh, I'd be willing to go with you." And Qantas are usually like adults and I know sometimes it feels a little like difficult and like scary to just like be the only child, or not even child, a teenager sitting there with a group of adults. But if you take like a friend, even just like a club friend, if your LTG is busy, then you're in a more comfortable space. I would also have like a little presentation ready. And if you want, reach out to like your district administrator or zone administrator if you're closer, and they can definitely get you into contact with them. And usually, zone administrators in my district live kind of close to that area, so they'd be able to tag along if you need anything. But they're really not scary. They're really friendly people. You know, they look just like a little other room next door, but they're really nice and they really just want to help you.
Yeah, thank you.
And my May.
So my district board actually attended the Kiwanis decon, and being like the only 11 teenagers there, it was very scary, but Kiwanians are usually very open and they actually like talk to you. So if you go up to them and you're just like, you have to have a very good introduction when you're talking to them. So you'll be like, "Hi, my name is Mai. I'm the Lieutenant Governor of the Lamas 10 District." And literally just like open it and just open it up from there. They literally can talk about anything and everything. So like just be confident when you walk up to them, and I think it should be fine.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And like networking is also really important. If you ever go to like an event or you're like your decon and you see them later, you could be like, "Oh, I'm from this club. You know, you're from this like Qantas that's near me. Like, do you wanna slide?" Oh yeah. And then we have Andrea.
Hi, so to add to what Mai said, like in my experience and also just what I've heard from everyone is like the Kiwanis are always impressed when you go and take this initiative. So either way, when you go to a meeting or something, like they're gonna be impressed that you were there anyways. So you're already in a good standing. Like it's not like you're some outside intruder. Like they really welcome like youth attending their events. So to see that you took that initiative is already a good start. So I feel like it's a reason to be not so nervous.
Yeah, definitely. And Dana, and then I'll go to the chat after.
Okay, so I have a question. It's not about like the like Kiwanis, but basically, so okay, I'm like the only person like at my school that like went to Icon because like I'm part of like district board and stuff, and like I wanted to go and whatever. So like my Kiwanis paid for me last year, but this year I don't think they're able to because we have like this big project that we're working on, and they've invested a lot of money in it. How would I fundraise? Like I know the like for the Michigan district, we did like the popcorn fundraiser, but it didn't really seem like that successful. And like I was thinking like a bake sale would be a really good idea, or like the partnership with restaurants. But how would that work if I'm the only person going? And like how would people like how would I don't know if that makes like how like I don't know how to word my question, sorry, but if I'm the only
Yeah.
person going, how do I get people to like, you know,
Oh yeah, I get exactly what you mean. That is a tough situation. So for the partnership with a restaurant, I think that would be a little too difficult because like when you're usually partnering with them, they want all the info and be like, oh, like, are you doing this for? What are you doing this for? So I think what's more feasible is if you go to your school and kind of word it really carefully. So tell them you're fundraising to help students attend Icon, and then if you have like a bake sale based around that, like helping students attend Icon, which is you helping student attend Icon, I think that could help. So if you could do anything within your school premises and like do that kind of like for yourself, quote unquote, or would your like club be willing to help you? You're like the execs in your club
Lena, can I
um
add on to this?
for sure.
Well, I think I was sort of going to reiterate your final point. Um, One of the key points about the international convention is that the lessons you learn during it are the things that you can bring back to your club and really make that impact tenfold. So if you go to your club, and typically district board members are pretty pivotal members of their clubs as well. So if you can go to your club leadership board and see how they can support you, potentially the club could host a fundraiser specifically for that purpose because they know you'll be bringing that back not only to the club but to the district level. That is certainly a way to look at. And then also PTO boards are great if your school has that as well.
Okay, thank you. Cause like I think it was like I know my school like pay, like my school's key clubs like funds paid for it and like the Kiwanis it was a mix of both, but they're like working on this like big like garden project thing and we invested a lot of money in it. So they're like they don't know if they can afford to take me this year. So I was just figuring out ways like how to fundraise. But yeah, thank you. That helped.
But honestly, like if you kind of like head the initiative, like if you tell them, I'm on the like district exec board, if you'd be willing to help me like do this initiative, like I will take, like you should take full initiative of it so they don't have to do much work, but then you'd also be like getting the benefit of the fundraising.
Right, like I'll do all the work. I have no problem like organizing everything. It's just like getting the word of mouth because if I'm the only person going, they're like, oh, I'm just fundraising for one person. So like, you know,
Yeah, I think yeah, that's the one thing. Yeah, I hope
Can
it
I
works.
can I make a comment?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm Harvey White. I'm a zone administrator, but also I'm past governor of the Florida district. Every Key Club has a Qantas sponsoring club, and every sponsoring Key Club, uh, every sponsoring Qantas club should have money in their budget for Key Club. So that is one area. Find out who your Key sponsoring Qantas Club advisor is and reach out to them. A lot of times they don't know you need help and they'll be more than happy to help you go to the conventions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. White. That was like,
thank
yeah,
you.
important to do. And then I'm gonna briefly like just go over like the chat questions. Someone asked, "Are your parents allowed to chaperone?" And we said that they can, but they have to make sure to go through the Qantas chaperone training and get a background check. And then we had someone ask, "Can seniors attend Icon after graduating 2025?" Yes, of course you can. Fun fact: the entire exec, like international board, are all seniors, so we're all gonna be graduated, and then we're gonna be attending Icon. So we could all be graduated seniors attending Icon.
But this is the most important part, I would say, because it's how are you actually going to get there?
Hey everyone, this is our final workshop for today, and it's how to apply for icons. an icon scholarship slash how to present a workshop. I have seen some familiar faces and names. I'm glad that you guys can all be joining us here today. Just another quick introduction. I'm International Trustee Nicole Bunyag. I'm a senior from the Indiana District, and I serve Florida, St. Kewens, and Missouri, Arkansas District. And an overview of what I will be talking about today is the Icon Scholarship, but more specifically the deadlines and some recommendations I have. And then the presenting a workshop at Icon, and more specifically application and suggestions from you guys. And then at the very end, there will be a Q&A session. First up, what is an Icon Scholarship? So it will be $750 to help allocate costs of Icon, and it can be used for anything Icon related, such as food, hotel, airfare. If you think you'll be needing it for Icon, then you can definitely use the money. And applications will open around December/January, and it will close February. And then I recommend not to procrastinate, because that will probably allow you to like hurry throughout your when you fill out the scholarship, and that's something that you do not want to do. So some questions that you might see on the scholarship is some informational ones, such as your name, district, just the information that we need to get from you so that if you do win, then we can reach out to you. And then a couple short answer ones. Some will have a word limit, some will be open-ended without a word limit. And then lastly, a recommendation from your Kiwanis/Key Club advisor. The letter of recommendation is something new that we are adding this year. And we just want to make sure that when you fill it out, we want to know what you've done so far, if you have been fundraising anything, and how, I guess, make sure that you're also a good member in Key Club standing. And we also want to see what you've done through the eyes of your Kiwanis or Key Club advisor. And some recommendations for filling out the scholarship. So I also filled out last year, and I was one of the recipients who got it. So thank you, Matt. But I recommend you utilizing Google Docs or Microsoft Word to put all your answers in, just in case one, doesn't save on the website, and two, if you don't want to use up, I guess, all your time or sit down and complete it all at once, I recommend putting it in somewhere on a different like Google Doc, and then just keep on going back to it when you want to do it again and again. But also, I think that's also a good way to, when you do it, you can take a break from it and then look at it again with fresh eyes, because you may think of a new idea that you would want to add into your answer. And this also goes into reread and revising your answers. I don't recommend doing it once and then submitting it. I recommend that you start early, you do it initially, all the questions, and then maybe like a couple days later, go back and do it. Look at what you put again and see what you can change, add, edit. And when answering the short answer questions, I recommend being specific. I think being specific will boost your chances of getting an Icon scholarship, because we want to know what you will be doing to, I guess, to help your club when you're also back home, but also when you get to Icon. And then I guess like just avoid big answers, because I guess that also won't increase your chances. And transitioning to presenting a workshop, one is a great opportunity for you to, I guess, get out of your comfort zone, and you can share your knowledge and experience with others. You can enhance your public speaking skills, and we can shine a spotlight on you and our student leaders, because that is what Key Club is all about, because we are a student-led organization. How applications open February, don't procrastinate again. And we would love to hear your ideas. Like I said, like the audience is like coming to your workshop because we want to know what you have to share with us. We want to know like your knowledge and all that. So the audience would love to have you, and we would also love to hear your ideas. So when you, I guess, if you're hesitating on filling out a workshop application, please don't hesitate, because all ideas are good ideas, and we want to hear what you have to say. So I guess this is where I open it up to you guys, and what types of presentations you would want to see / learn from at Icon. These can be workshops that we've presented last year, new ones you want to see. But yeah, you can either unmute or drop them in the chat, and then I will quickly just type them down.
I think like presentations on different types of service projects are always good because I think a lot of time we'll reuse the same one. So just like inspiration, I guess.
That's a great idea. Thank you. And then Jason, I think you're gonna talk.
Yeah, like one from last year that I liked was like membership growth. I thought that was like a good and important one that a lot of people benefited from.
Nicole, I
Anything?
can read you the ones in the chat
Oh,
if you don't see them.
perfect. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, running for higher office. Kevin says, Brandon says maximizing key club opportunities. And Leonidas, I'm so sorry for pronouncing, says how to be an LTG.
Mai,
Oh,
do you have a suggestion?
I say like time management or stress management because I know that like I did not know what I was getting into becoming an LTG, so I was like, so this year's been pretty stressful for me.
Nicole, one I saw in the chat was the history of Key Club, and that will certainly be a huge topic specifically at this international convention, with it being the 100 year. So beyond workshops, make sure to look out for everything having to do with the centennial anniversary. There's so much in store, so that's definitely something to look forward to this year.
Any more? Okay.
Someone said membership retention, networking, and communication. And then Brandon suggested another one, working with KFAM. There's a lot in the chat actually. Jason also suggested programs and partners, and then fundraising ideas.
Nicole's gonna need a second slide.
So all these wonderful ideas are in the chat. I hope that you guys are going to volunteer to present some workshops at our Centennial Icon, because these are all wonderful ideas I really hope to see.
Yeah, so piggybacking off of what Kevin said, workshop proposal forms will come out later on in the year as we get closer to the date and once registration is open. And you guys can come up with your own nice title. I know I presented last year, well, actually this year's icon, on service and style, and basically making it as engaging as possible. You guys get to build your own presentation. So I hope you all take that opportunity.
Thank you all for these wonderful ideas. We will definitely be considering these when we start planning Icon more specifically later on in the year. But also something else I want to mention is that if you do plan on presenting a workshop and applying for the Icon Scholarship, it will definitely boost your chances of getting an Icon Scholarship because when you get to convention, you'll be doing something, I guess, for the whole convention and for all the people to see. So that will definitely increase your chances. And then lastly, open for Q&A about either the scholarship or presenting a workshop. You can either unmute or drop it in the chat.
I think May, you had a question.
So one question that I have is if I apply to host a workshop, but then I somehow can't come to Icon, like how would that work?
Yeah, so if we do end up telling you that you are allowed to before you know, that's like totally fine. But we do ask that once you do know to just get back to us as soon as possible so that we can figure out a replacement or the next steps to take. And then Brandon?
Hey, is the Icon Scholarship reviewed based on the short answer and letter of recommendation solely, or like what factors are taken into account in that decision process?
Yeah, so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Aspen, or any of the committee, but we're taking into account like probably 50% questions, maybe 50% letter of recommendation, but those percentages can definitely change, but both will definitely play into a factor when we grade the application.
Yeah, and as Nicole was saying before, other things like if you're running for higher office, if you are presenting a workshop, things like that, will also be accounted for the grading of your scholarship.
And then Gerardo?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So my question is, how are these workshops done specifically? Is it like a PowerPoint presentation, or is it like a TED Talk kind of situation?
Yeah, so typically we have presenters make a presentation either through like Canva slides, PowerPoint, and then they just like present it at Icon.
All right. Thank you.
Um, and then a question in the chat was, is the workshop idea we're proposing the one we are expecting to do at Icon? And the answer is yes. And then Houston, my bad.
Totally fine. I respond to anything. Are workshops done solo, or could you partner with another Key Club member?
Yeah, you can. No, sorry. You can definitely partner up with people. I would recommend maybe keeping it to a limit of like 3 or 4 and just not a whole bunch of people, but you can definitely present with more than one person.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Andrew?
Um, Hi. So if you're like newer to Key Club, are you like at a disadvantage for the scholarship against people who are like more, have been in Key Club for longer?
Yeah, I totally see what you're getting. But I would say no because we want first time comers to come to Icon. We want them to experience Icon as a whole, what they learned, and we want them to bring it back to their club. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a disadvantage because we definitely want first timers there.
Yeah, and then Nicole, we also had a question in the chat. How will we be notified when registration for the scholarship is open?
Yeah, so one of the questions on the application will be an email. So we recommend putting in your like personal email instead of school email. At least that's how it was last year. So we will probably email you if you either got it or you didn't. And make sure to I guess constantly check it and then make sure I guess it doesn't go to your spam account too.
I think Aaliyah's question was probably how will they know when the scholarship is open to apply for it?
Okay, my bad. But yeah, it will probably be posted on our Instagram, and then there will also probably be more information on our website too.
Yeah, and make sure that if your lieutenant governor or governor sends you emails from your international trustee, then your international trustee will definitely be sending a lot of mail about that as well.
Do y'all have a general idea of how much it would cost yet, or are y'all is that still in the works?
So we have we do have the cost of the hotel and the registration on the website at keyclub.org/convention. But honestly, 98% of the students attend with their district tour, and the district tours are all-inclusive pricing. So, that would include your hotel, maybe some meals, your transportation, any events that they see on the way or on the way back. And those prices are all different depending on the district because, of course, it's probably a different price for California to come to Florida than it is for Georgia to come to Florida, right? So each district has their own district pricing that's all inclusive. So you should reach out to your district and your district administrator and see what they're putting together in terms of a package. But if you do want to come by yourself, you certainly can. We'll arrange chaperones and make sure that you're chaperoned and that more individual information is on the website.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? Well, I don't see any, so we are going to start wrapping up now. In short, we hope these workshops have been informative and have helped you to better understand why and how you can attend this year's international convention. As a reminder, it's never too early to start fundraising. Also, scholarship applications will be opening soon, so keep an eye out. Additionally, we'd love to see you all advertise the international convention to your Key Club members. For all graphics, logos, and international convention marketing materials, please visit keyclub.org. And I guess Aspen, Sunny, Kevin, Alejandro, Lena, if you guys have any last minute things, I'll pass it on to you guys as well.
Just finally, just please make sure to follow the Instagrams. We've put them a million times in the chat, but if you don't know them, at Key Club int at keyclub.iboard. Very, very important for all things International Convention.
And lastly, thank you guys for all coming to this winter webinar. We will be having more webinars in the future. So if your guys' friends want to hop on to the next one, they certainly can. But other than that, thank you guys so much for being here.